The top stories: the visiting Sudanese Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok held talks with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. And the UN apologizes for its workers breaching security guidelines in the state of Tigray. Hello and thank you all for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. Amidst Ethiopia's engagement in its law enforcement operation, the Sudanese Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok has come to Ethiopia for a 2-day official visit. Upon arrival at Bole International Airport today, Hamdok has been accorded a heartfelt welcome by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Premier Hamdok has expressed his country's solidarity with Ethiopia in the law enforcement operations it has been undertaking in Tigray. Daniel Kasahun tells you more.
Upon arrival at Bole International Airport on Sunday, the Sudanese Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok was accorded cordial welcome by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. The two leaders have productive discussions on ways of further strengthening economic and bilateral ties on the top of current and regional issues. Reaffirming Ethiopia's law enforcement operations in the Tigray regional state, Premier Abiy has told his Sudanese counterpart that the operation is 100% completed.
So, we're very much happy to have you here in your second home. Time to meet Sudanese brother, especially Prime Minister Hamdok. Informations and situations was in Ethiopia. From our side, we've been reporting our situation through virtual. We have 100% accomplished our mission, building the northern part of Ethiopia. There are some parts of society which is expecting something wrong happened here. That's our backup. We don't want to miss it. The current situation here where you're in Sudan. Hello, we're more than happy to have you here. So the floor is yours, out of the neighbor, if you have any comment.
We're delighted to be here.
Recalling the support of Prime Minister Abiy in particular and the government of Ethiopia in general during Sudan's time of need, Prime Minister Hamdok reiterated his country's solidarity with Ethiopia in the law enforcement operations it has been undertaking in Tigray. The discussions between the two leaders concluded with an understanding on several issues of mutual interest. This is according to Office of the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed sends out his message to the world about the alarming global issue of climate change at the Climate Ambition Summit 2020. The Premier highlights the green initiatives Ethiopia has been implementing in the past couple of years and its plan to expand it to neighboring nations. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to join you today in the commemoration of the 5th anniversary of the historic Paris Agreement. Ethiopia has taken bold leadership on climate action by launching its ambitious climate-resilient green economy strategy that aspires to build a carbon-neutral and resilient economy by 2030. Over the last 2 years, this strategy has been fully mainstreamed into the recently launched 10-year Perspective Development Plan, which runs from 2021 to 2030. As part of our commitment to the Paris Agreement, we have also launched our 15 years ambitious National Adaptation Plan, aimed at reducing the vulnerability of the country to the adverse impacts of climate change. This plan has identified 18 options across the most vulnerable sectors, including agriculture, forestry, health, and transport. We have also recently intensified our commitment in the fight against climate change by launching our Green Legacy National Flagship Initiative in 2019, aimed at planting 20 billion seedlings within 4 years. During the last 2 years, we have managed to plant more than 9 billion seedlings. As of next year, my government is working to extend the Green Legacy Initiative into neighboring countries. Ethiopia is also on the verge of finalizing the process of updating its nationally determined contribution, as well as the preparation of the 2050 long-term low-carbon development strategy. Despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19. I would like to reiterate the unwavering commitment of Ethiopia in the global fight against climate change and call upon all parties to enhance their ambition and scale up their climate finance support for developing countries. I thank you.
We don't confuse a country and a government. We want you to understand that. Not today, even 100 years ago, we gave our neck to be free from colonialism. Victory is Ethiopia. No individual will sell his or her country for their benefit. We love peace, we work for peace, and you have to understand that. And if you understand what's ours, you should collaborate with us. No matter poverty we're in, will not give in our pride to others. Don't blame us. It's not our fault. This is in our blood, transmitted from our fathers. Well, money will not pressure us. You can only work together with us. You cannot win Ethiopia when you have Ethiopians living here.
Welcome back. You're watching Addis News Hour. UN resident and humanitarian coordinator for Ethiopia, Dr. Catherine Sozi, apologizes to the Ethiopian government for her staff workers breached security guidelines set by the Ethiopian government while trying to deliver aid. In a statement the Ethiopian Ministry of Peace issued, the Ethiopian government accepts the apology. Ethiopia's Ministry of Peace has thus called on humanitarian workers to follow security guidelines set out by the government. The call came following an incident on December 6th, where the UN staffers breached security checkpoints in the Tigray regional state. Despite security officials' repeated warning and pleas, a convoy carrying UN staff broke through checkpoints, ignoring the agreement reached between the government and the UN on humanitarian access, said the ministry. In a statement issued yesterday, the ministry urged all humanitarian workers to respect the agreed safety protocols and follow the advice of the law enforcement personnel. Deputy Commander of the Ethiopian Defense Forces Northern Command, Brigadier General Adamneh Mengistu, who was held hostage by the TPLF clique, commends his war comrades' bravery in freeing him and other hostages from the junta. The deputy commander was among the 1,000 military senior officers held hostage by the TPLF for about 3 weeks, since the very night the TPLF forces attacked the command. Adamneh said the operation by the Ethiopian National Defense Forces to free the hostages was successfully conducted with unimaginable bravery.
The National Defense Force has accomplished the mission of the operation carefully to ensure our security. Our defense force has launched its counter-offense quite carefully, distinguishing us from the TPLF forces, and the airstrike gave them no respite, an option to escape. I mean, the junta forces that kidnapped us were following us closely, and when they flee forward, our air force was coming in front of them with heavy strike on the frontliners and closed the narrow street in which they were going. And when they returned back, also the street was blocked by another burnt vehicle hit by the airstrikes of the defense force. By that time, our defense force has freed all of us immediately when they were trying to run away, dropping their vehicles here and there because they have no other option left to try. It was an operation which made all Ethiopians happy. It was also a successful operation which distinguished friends from enemies. We are proud of our defense force, and I would like to thank all Ethiopians and all who participated in the operation.
Other freed officers also congratulated Ethiopians on the successful operation by the National Defense Forces.
It has been a long time since we were betrayed. But first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to all Ethiopians and National Defense Force members, for we can now see each other after being agonized for a month. We have heard what the government and Ethiopian people have been doing. We were in a desperate situation, saying the main issue is survival of our country. So it doesn't matter if we died here, because whether we died here or we survived, it is for our country to sustain, united and protected. But after all these sufferings without food and water, our defense force arrived and saved us. I want to thank all who took part in the operation, and I call upon all Ethiopians to strengthen this victorious unity for the future.
The National Disaster Risk Management Commission announces that food and non-food items are being distributed in Tigray region. Shire Provisional Administration and citizens who received aid also commended the government for its support. Goshumal Lisau tells you more.
As the military operation which was going on in the state of Tigray has come to an end, the government resumes providing relief aid to those displaced people who fled their homes because of security concerns. According to the National Disaster Risk Management Commission, food and non-food aid is being distributed to residents of Shire who are in need of immediate food assistance.
ከሽሬ ከተማ ላይ ወደ 45 የሚሆኑ ተሽከርካሪዎች በትላንትናው ዕለት ገብተዋል።
Close to 45 trucks arrived in Shire yesterday. Among these, 31,500 quintals are wheat. Other processed food items that would be provided for children, elders and pregnant women have also been transported by 3 other trucks. We are closely working with the security personnel to make sure that the aid reaches the intended recipients.
ከ5 ዓመት በታች የሆኑ ህፃናት ጨምራሉ። ለነዚህ የሚሆን ደግሞ ፓስታ Ruz, Zait, macaroni.
Commending the federal government for its support, the Shire Provisional Administration explained that the process of screening the needy has been finalized to make the delivery effective.
ህብረተሰባችን በአጠቃላይ በዞን ደረጃ በተለይም ደግሞ በከተማችን
Our community, particularly Shire residents, were highly affected by the conflict. I would like to thank the federal government on behalf of the residents for this swift response. Priority will be given for the displaced who fled their homes and sheltered in schools for about 3 weeks without any support. Elders, children, and destitute will also be prioritized.
ያለምንም እርዳታ የቆዩ ናቸው። እነሱ ቅድሚያ የሚሰጣቸው አሉ።
ገብረ እግዚአብሔር አብራ is one of the residents who received aid. He said that the aid will have a significant impact to support affected families like his own.
በእርሻ የነበረን ማሽላ ሸውተ ነበር።
We are farmers. We grow corn and sorghum at home, but we fled our areas because of the conflict. We are now good with the support being provided to us. Thanks to the God, we will be okay as long as the government continues to support us. We want peace. That is a basic thing.
The Provisional Administration also said that it is striving to resolve the chronic water shortage being observed in the town.
Voices of Tigrayans are being heard following TPLF's demise from the country's political scene. Talking to ETV, Tigrayans who live in Adama city said the TPLF clique has been manipulating the people of Tigray for its own political sake. They said the clique had been collecting money from Tigrayans everywhere in the country under the disguise of building schools, but it was actually building army bases. Kasahun Chani reports.
The TPLF clique has long been preaching derogatory narratives to brainwash the public, portraying a group and the people of Tigray as two inseparable entities. After the dumps of the clique, however, voices are being heard from Tigrayans about the suppression the people of Tigray have been through. Talking to ETV, Tigrayans who live in Adama said the people of Tigray have been manipulated by the group for almost 3 decades. As to their residents, the recent law enforcement operation by the government against junta has opened the door for the people of Tigray to exercise their rights and resume development activities.
They had been collecting money from every single Tigray under the disguise of building schools and other infrastructures. But they were actually building their army bases. Students are still attending schools in tents, sitting on stones and mud.
If you are Tigray, you are under surveillance wherever you are. You can't speak your mind during their time of right. You might get canned from your job if they found you speak against their will. So no true Tigray was benefiting from the regime. We rather lived under great fear.
I believe that the people of Tigray, like any other Ethiopians, ought to benefit from all the nation's development endeavors. But it was on the contrary. They were not even generous enough to help the more than 100,000 veterans who bravely fought in their side during the war that overthrew the brutal Derg regime. We hope that these individuals will get due respect from the new leadership, as we recall that the premier pledged to help them. The TPLF was manipulating the people of Tigray, acting like it was the only guardian of Tigrayans, but the truth is they were suppressing the people.
They also appreciated the plan of the government to rebuild the state's infrastructures. The junta destroyed and to restore the normal life of the public, adding that they would be supportive in this endeavor.
ስለዚህ ወንዶችም ሴቶችም ሊሰሩት የሚችሉት አይነት ቀጥ ብላችሁ እንደዚህ በመቆም እጃችሁን ወደፊት በማድረግ ስለዚህ እኔ የወንዶቹ ጭፈራ ወንዶች በተለምዶ ሲዳማ ባህላዊ ጭፈራ ሲጨፍሩ ጦር ብዙ ጊዜ ጦር ነው የሚያዙት ጦር ይዛሉ ወይም እዚህ ጋር ዱላው እንደዚህ እንዳረጋችሁት 1 2 1 2 እግራችሁን 1 2 1 አረ ከፍ በጣም ከፍ ሳታረጉት እግራችሁን 1 2 1 2 አንገታችሁን ወጣ እጃችሁን ገባ 1 2 1 ማኑ ቢተጃን ባላለ ማኑ ከህዝቦች ጋር ማኑ ሐዋሳ አዳሬ ማኑ ሰላምን አብስሪ ማኑ ዘመን ተሻገሪ መጀመሪያ የምናረገው እንደ መዝለል 1 2 1 2 ለዚህ እንደ መዝለል እንጨፍራለን ከዛ አንገት እንጨምርበታለን ሳልዘል አንገቴን ሳሰጋችሁ ግራ ቀኝ ግራ ቀኝ ቢተ ለሜ ለሜ ሳሴ ሳሴ ሾሌ ደሞ ለሚዮ ሲዳሙ ወይም ዱላችሁ እንደዚህ በመያዝ ዘለል በማድረግ 1 2 1 2 አንገታችሁ ገባ ገባ መታ ደሞ ለሚዮ ሲዳሙ ደሞ ለሚዮ ሲዳሙ ደሞ ለሚዮ ሲዳሙ ደሞ ለሚዮ ናሸቤ ማኑ ሁላተና ቦና ማኑ ዶሬ ወንዶ ማልጋ ማኑ አንሺ ጎርቼ ዳራ 2 ስለዚህ እንዴት ነው የሚሆነው ስራው? 1 2 1 2 1 2 ይሄን አንገታችሁን የምታደርጉት እንደ ማሽከርከር እንደዚህ እንደዚህ በጣም ሳይሆን በስሱ 1 2 አይደል?
And finally, 5 years since the signing of the Paris Climate Agreement, several African countries have tried to play their part in tackling climate change by implementing small-scale interventions. However, a lot more needs to be done. Chukwumerije Okereke, a professor of global environmental and climate governance, speaks to CGTN about the extent to which the continent is being affected by climate change. Take a look.
Impacts of climate change is in the area of agriculture and food production. You see, because of Africa's location very close to the equator and being a tropical continent, Africa's temperature has been rising faster than the global mean temperature. And the consequence of this is that there has been a huge variation in rainfall pattern, and most parts of Africa have been experiencing shorter periods of rainfall and longer periods of dry season. The consequence of this has been a lot of drought and a lot of poor performance of agricultural outputs. Another main area, but is the incidence of extreme weather events. And the third big area is through flooding. Africa is experiencing a lot of flooding, and that is resulting in massive displacement of people. In some cases, the entire states or communities have been sacked by flooding. And this also has resulted in serious socioeconomic consequences for many, many countries and communities across Africa. There are a range of different things that should be done. Number one, African countries need to fully understand the nature of impacts that are currently being experienced and the future projected impact. This means investing heavily in science, in climate modeling, climate prediction, to be able to understand the current and future dimensions of impact. So we need planning not only at national level, but also at subnational and local levels. And quite frankly, also, Africa needs to intensify their advocacy to attract finance, technology, and capacity building resources from the developed countries to enable them to implement their plan.
And that's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.